Lawyers for 6 South Carolina death row inmates are working to pause executions. They want officials to hold off on resuming the 12-year halt on executions while the new lethal injection method is studied. Under the state's SHIELD law, officials don't have to reveal their protocols for lethal injection. Officials say it's essentially identical to how the federal government and several other states use a sedative drug alone to kill inmates.
You're looking live at the U.S. Capitol, where the House of Representatives still sits without an official leader. California Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy was ousted from his position Tuesday. Congress is still trying to figure out who will take his spot.
And we're bringing back Queen City News chief legal expert Khalif Rhodes to talk about what comes next. One, I don't know if they really had a plan as to what came next, but here we are. We have some people who have emerged, Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, but what do you think comes next here as they try to scramble to find a new speaker?
Well, because we're in uncharted territory, and it seems like every day we're in uncharted territory, but this is the first time in U.S. history, so there's no playbook for this. You're talking about one person. Matt Gaetz decided that I want to get rid of the Speaker of the House. He had the votes. He pushed for it. The Democrats didn't offer McCarthy any lifeline, so we go from McCarthy to McHenry. And now nobody knows. I mean, we're talking about 8 days until we'll have some clarity. We won't be able to have any movement till Tuesday. They'll have a closed-door session on Tuesday. If they come out of that closed-door session, they, the Republicans, with a leader, with a speaker, they'll take it to the vote on Wednesday. So Wednesday's the earliest that we'll be able to have any type of idea of what leadership looks like. So until that time frame, it's standstill. Nothing's happening. There's no hearings. There's nothing happening in the public eye, and there's nothing for the people's work getting done. A lot of behind-the-scenes deals. Kind of what led us to this point is probably taking place right now. But was there a playbook? Was anything drafted? Was there any idea? I mean, I don't believe so. The only idea was to get rid of him, and they've accomplished that.
It was that threat of the motion to vacate that's kind of been that carrot dangling for several months now, and really a state of a paralysis. What is the political cost of this? And will we even be able to truly know that right now?
I mean, the damage is lasting already. I mean, it's really like the Spider-Man meme, and when everyone is pointing to who did it. I mean, because you got to look at this. This is a Republican. Matt Gaetz made this decision to put the motion forward to vacate, but then who pushed it through? It was the Democrats not offering support to keep him in his seat. And so then if you go forward a little bit, you hear every Republican saying the Democrats did this. And it's like, well, actually, it was a Republican that put forward the motion. The Democrats just didn't offer any support. And it was the 8 other Republicans that went forward with supporting this effort that got him out. Going forward, it's going to be problematic because there is a divide and a splinter within us politically as Democrats and Republicans. But it gets even worse when there's a divide within the Republican Party. And I think Kareem Jeffrey said it best. He said it's not the Democrats' issue to fix the problems that are within the Republican Party. I think they have to do some soul searching and figure out, like, who is going to be a true leader of the party. Because while they bicker and while they do this bipartisan or even interpartisan politics inside their own party, the work is not getting done, and it's going to hurt folks down the line. I think South Carolina's Mace will probably have a hard time getting reelected because she threw her support by getting him out. That means the GOP probably won't fund her going forward. It will be hard for her to get reelected without getting support from the national party. So folks that stuck to their guns and said, I won't support McCarthy, are going to probably have a hard time getting reelected.
I mean, let's take out our crystal ball here. You said work needs to be done. I mean, we only have a little bit of time before we're facing another threat of a government shutdown there. They have to get things in order, and say you get a Jim Jordan in there, right? Yeah. Who doesn't want to negotiate at all with Democrats. We could be setting ourselves up for another gridlock.
We got November to get this done because it was a short-term hold, right? We got Jordan, we got Scalise, but the other name that you didn't mention was Trump. He said yesterday that I've received a number of calls. What folks don't recognize is you don't have to be an active member of the House, which is weird, but these are the rules, to be the Speaker of the House. And so the former president could, by law, become the next Speaker of the House, which would add an extremely rare curveball to an already crazy, difficult situation. We need someone that can work across the aisle, but you need someone that can work with their own party. McCarthy had trouble getting in office. In that seat, 15 rounds of votes. And so you need someone that doesn't have to give up that many concessions to get into the seat. And when you are the speaker, you are the driver of your party. And so you are leading the direction of the party and making sure that you have support behind you. He didn't have support in the beginning, so the writing was on the wall. You need someone that's strong. So a Jim Jordan would be a strong person, but then he would not work with the Democrats at all. And so we would be at a shutdown. And we need someone that can work both internally and externally. So I don't know who that person is. I wish I had the magic ball, but it is my hope that the Republican Party can work together so that as a country we can work together.